Hi, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny. We're gardening here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7. Today I'm taking a look at what we have going on out here in the front gardens, and I'm kind of taking stock of how things are coming along and what's happening and what I like and what I don't like. So come with me and let's take a look and see what we have and see what we might want to do. Maybe we'll plant some things, maybe we'll come up with some ideas for some things. Come with me and let's just see what's going on. You may know that I've been working on a front foundation refresh project, and I think I'm pretty close to done, but it feels like I'm at like 80% done, and now I'm stuck on what I want to do to finish it up. So let me show you some things that I love about it and some things that I'm not so sure about. Standing here on the north side of the front foundation, there's a lot that I like. I like the rhododendron up against the house, and if that holly will survive, I like that. And of course the new Taylor juniper that's next to the porch, and there's one over here next to the fence beside that rhododendron. So I like those. This beautyberry, I love the shrub, but I think it's too big for this spot. We're just now starting to get some purple berries on it, and they're so pretty. I really love it. But I think it naturally wants to grow to like 10 feet. And of course I cut it back every year, and I really want to move it to a location where it can do better. I think I'm going to be moving it over to the base of that cherry tree somewhere. Dave's working on taking out those old shrubs, and so that's a whole other project that we'll talk about another time. But somewhere over there by that tree is where that beautyberry is going to go. I like this lemon thread false cypress, especially since it's been trimmed. I do like these azaleas. They're supposed to be repeat bloomers, and they're putting out a few blooms, but you know, they're not overwhelmingly reblooming, but I do like them. I like this rose here, the fairy rose, sedum. We just put in this barberry, which I like a lot. Another azalea with the pink blooms. So there's a lot here to like. I like that Miss Kim lilac, the monk's hood over here, the leucothoes we just put in, the lamb's ears, a lot of good things. What I don't care for a lot is the fact that this mass of planting is pretty much the same color, green. We have the green tall lily trees, then we have the same green on the Miss Kim lilac, pretty much the same green on the azalea that's behind there, and the same green on the monk's hood, and the same green mostly on the baptisia that's back behind there. So this is pretty much a big wall of blob of leaves when you look at it from the street. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. Once this beautyberry comes out, I think I'm going to put in a sunshine ligustrum there, and that will certainly be not the same color green, so that's good. And then I have a plant stash that's full of some perennials. I think I'm going to be putting the Ascot Rainbow Euphorbia right here in front of that Orange Rocket Barberry. So that'll be a nice interesting pop of color there too. Although I might not put it there if I put the Sunshine Ligustrum where the beautyberry is behind the barberry, and then put the Ascot Rainbow in front of the barberry, that might be too much of that bright yellow chartreuse color all in the same spot. So I'll have to think about that again. I put in these annuals, and this area will be for annuals for the foreseeable future. But this area here, should that be for annuals, or should I put some perennial things in there? Let me know what you think. What would you do with this garden right here? And how about on this other side between the lemon thread and the rose and the azalea, this spot right here? Would you put a perennial in there, or annuals, or what? There are still some empty spots across here. And then of course we're going to be putting in the new bed along this side of our yard. I think we're going to be just preparing the bed this fall, and then we'll plant it out in the spring. I'm going to be using the no-dig method, and so that means covering up the grass with cardboard and then putting compost on top of that and letting it sit over the winter to turn into really good soil. That's a project that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks, so you might want to subscribe so that you can watch me do that. But otherwise, I think that project on that north side That's all we're going to get done there. In this front garden, I love pink, purple, red is okay as long as it's leaning toward pink, white, blue, green, and that's about the color scheme that I plan to use out here. I currently do have some yellow over on the other side of the sidewalk from dahlias this season. Can you see them? Yeah. So, but I'm not going to have too much yellow, maybe a pop of yellow here or there. But pink, purple, white, blue, and green foliage is what I'm going for out here. So I'm going to be putting in some more, not more, but just some liatris or blazing star, or what's it also called? Gay feather, I think. So those will probably be in 2 or 3 spots across the front of here, just to have some repetition across the front. And then also on the other side, I do like liatris a lot, and so that's going to be part of next year's planting. I'm going to be putting in some spring bulbs here. I'm not sure exactly what. Tulips are risky because of our deer and rabbit populations, so I'm not sure about that. But as far as perennials that I still want that I don't have yet, I think I'm going to aim for some liatris, which I've already said, some lobelia, I think. I'm not sure. What else? What would you put out here with the things that I have going on so far? I have a lot of shrubs. I have coneflowers, roses, and sedum is pretty much the flowering action that I have going on from perennials out here. So what would you add to this garden? All right, so please excuse the hose that's laid out, and please excuse the dappled sunlight that's going to make the focus hard on this video. The south side of the foundation is coming together really nicely. A lot of this is new this year. In fact, I would say most of it that is not a shrub. All the perennials are new this year, I think. So it's coming together. It's starting to work, but it still feels like there's not quite enough in here, not quite enough structure for the winter in here. Let's talk about these hollies for a minute. The one on the left, up against the house, is one that we transplanted, and it's dying. There are lots of dead leaves inside of it, and I'm not sure it's going to make it. The one on the right, we just trimmed down, and many of you have suggested that I should move the one on the right, take it out, and then replant it centered on the window. And yes, I would be happier if I had a holly centered on the window here instead of off to the side. But these hollies are so difficult to move. They have really, really mature root balls, and getting them out of the ground with enough roots so that they can live has proved to be very difficult. And in fact, that's what we did with this one closest to the porch, and I don't think it's going to make it. So I'm hesitant to pull out the one that's further away from the porch because I just don't want to ruin a good thing. So I think it's going to stay there, which means that I have some work to do to make this a nice balanced foundation planting across here. We do have 2 hollies over there that I need to figure out what to do with. There's a shorter one in the front and a taller one in the back. I think I'm going to take the shorter one and trim it into a cone shape, just so that it's a little bit different. So I am definitely going to be putting in a sunshine ligustrum, probably behind these Mexican petunias, but not up against the house. So got to figure out what to do about that. I love the pink and blue color scheme that we have going on in here. We do have some room for more plants back in there and back in there. And that way I have ordered some tall lily trees to go back near that lilac. So that'll be nice. And there's still a lot of room for planting in here too. My front foundation refresh plan focused on shrubs, and I didn't really specify perennials because I like to pick those out at the garden center for the most part. So what would you do if you were me on this side? What shrubs would you continue to add in here? And perennials. I've got a lot of coneflowers, roses. I have some salvia. There are dahlias here. Those are going to be dug up and stored and replanted next year. Some of them, not all of them. So yeah, what would you put in here if you were me? I'd love to have your suggestions. I want to quickly mention this side of this flower bed is pretty much empty, And it's going to stay that way this season. I'm not going to tackle this area or the side of the house area this season. That'll give us something to do next spring. And here are some plants that are in my stash that are destined for the front yard. We have 2 of the Golden Jubilee hyssop. And we have 2 May-night salvia. I know exactly where those are going. And we have 2 of the Ascot Rainbow euphorbias. And 1 Tasmanian tiger, I think is what that one is called, euphorbia. And then we have 1 Caryopteris. Is that what that is? Yeah. So those are definitely going out front. So let me take this tray around and we can decide where to put them. Okay, I think I found spots for all of these perennials, even the one that I thought I might have to overwinter before I plant it. So let's take a look at what we've got gonna go in these beds. Starting here at the center, let's move to the north side first. I'm gonna put 1 of the Golden Jubilee hyssops right here, and that'll fill in about 2 to 3 feet right there, tall and wide. 2 feet wide, 3 feet tall. It'll kind of be taller than the azalea, but that's okay because we have that pathway on the other side that we see the azalea from as well. So, and I like having a variation of some tall things in the front, some tall things in the back. I don't mind that at all. So that'll be lavender, blue, purpley, fuzzy flowers right here beside this lemon thread, which I think is going to be a nice color combination, and also beside this soft fairy rose there. So that, I think that'll be a nice combination. I'm going to put 1 of the Ascot Rainbow euphorbias right there. I think that the chartreuse and green foliage of it looks pretty good with this rose, especially the new growth of the rose is about the same color as the chartreuse here. Not quite exactly, but close. And then the red stems of the euphorbia kind of mimic the red that's on there. So that's a nice blend, and then a nice contrasty foliage shape. But this will fill in to be about 20 inches tall and wide, so it'll be a nice big round circle of it right there. May-night salvias, we're going to put 2 of them right here. I have a 3rd one that's already in the ground right here. I'm going to dig this one up out of the ground and move it to right there. So it'll be a nice little cup shape of some May-night salvia right there. This is a ruby star echinacea, so I think that that'll be a nice combination to have next summer. And then in the back, where the May-night salvia currently is, I'm going to put the 2nd Golden Jubilee Anise hyssop right there. So then we'll have some repetition in this bed as well. The May-night salvia will bloom in the spring with purple, really rich purple blue spikes. And then once it's done blooming, the hyssop will come on. And if the May-night reblooms, we might have 2 kinds of purple spikes going on at the same time in the mid to late summer. But in my experience, the salvia doesn't rebloom as much as I would like it to. So I don't think it'll be too much to have the same shape of flowers there. And the hyssop will get much taller. And remember that this beautyberry won't be there. I'm going to let it the berries be beautiful this fall, and then once it's done and loses its leaves this fall, I'm going to dig this out. So the hyssop will have plenty of room there. Down this way, I had said in my plant haul video that this blue mist shrub might need to be potted up and overwintered in a pot because the area that I wanted to put it wasn't prepared yet. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant it exactly right on the edge of the lawn right there, and then it'll grow to be 4x4, and so that'll be a really nice big 4x4 anchor shrub for this side of the walkway, which will eventually come out and come this way, and will come from there and come this way. So I think that that's a pretty good spot for that. And that only leaves 2 plants to be put in onto this side of the garden. One of the euphorbias, this will be the Ascot Rainbow. It's nearby the fairy rose, like on the other side. It's also near some mini pearl phlox, and this is an agastache, hummingbird mint, poquito lavender, 2 of them, but they're kind of struggling there. I think they're too wet here, so I might need to lift those and put them in a drier location. So this one I think is going to be a nice front of the border chartreuse pop right there. And then up around this way, over by the knockout rose, I'm going to put this is the Tasmanian tiger euphorbia, and it's got the cream and blue-gray green variegation. And I think that that'll fill in a nice little mound here and look really nice with that rose. Now, it clashes a little bit with this variegated liriope, but I think we've got 5 variegated liriopes here and 5 over here. This used to be the border of the old flower bed. I think all 10 of these are going to get lifted and redistributed around the garden. They're not staying in this location. So I think it's probably okay to have this variegation and that variegation, or what I'm saying is it's okay to plant that there because this isn't going to stay there. So now it's just a matter of getting these put into the ground. I'm going to use my same method as always, dig my holes the same depth as the pot, a little bit wider than the pot, put in some fertilizer. This time I'm using plant tone because I'm out of biotone. Normally I would want biotone, but here we are, I don't have any. So a little fertilizer in the hole, put the plant in, backfill, and then water them in deeply. So let me just get to it. Well, folks, I made good progress getting 8 new perennials, actually one of them is a shrub, technically, into the ground out here in the front foundation flower bed. I would still love to hear from you though. What do you think I'm missing out here? Remember, I have a deer problem and I have a black walnut problem, so whatever I put out here has to be able to withstand those 2 situations. And we're west facing. So if you have thoughts or ideas for me, please put them in the comments section down below. I would love to get your ideas. Thank you so much for joining me here today at Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and I hope you learned something. And if you have any ideas for me, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. I will see you in another video really soon. Take care, friends. Have a great day in your garden.